So we've heard a couple of things today. I think we can make some conclusions on. One, obviously, because of layoffs in the market and high unemployment, we're going to have more business startup potential. And the difference in whether or not folks are going to be able to enter into a new entrepreneurial opportunity is going to depend on their transferable experience or their experience in that field, and whether or not they have an accurate business plan that includes cash flow and inventory control modules as a part of it, and a realistic plan put together to move forward, not in the high-end discretionary item area. And again, I think obviously we've ascertained that the restaurant business right now is not favorable according to our lenders. Sorry to you guys that are in the restaurant business. I guess one last thing is that there's great opportunity in the empowerment zone. So those are all things that we can conclude. Let's have some questions.
Well, it kind of comes back to that communication thing for us. Too many times our small businesses come in and they're in deep trouble and they've avoided our calls and haven't provided financial statements, and it's too late usually at that point. But to your point, if you walk in the door saying, I need a 6-month reprieve on P&I can make interest payments, but here's my plan. We're going to go to a 32-hour work week. Those kind of things. I mean, we are bending over backwards to work with our borrowers because we know this is a difficult time. We know that things are outside your control right now as a borrower, but it's cutting out those things that truly are discretionary spending in your business and reducing your debt burden as quickly and as much as you can. Maybe it's selling off part of your leased vehicle, your vehicle fleet, whatever it is. Prepare for the worst because there's less margin for error right now, and some banks are looking for any opportunity to force a long-term customer out of the bank. We've seen that quite often, and just from our perspective, you may have been a very bankable deal, conventional bankable deal for a lot of years, but suddenly your 08 trends are horrible. SBA becomes an option for you. The longer amortizations create additional monthly cash flow, which creates opportunity to fund your growth or your turnaround plan internally. Those are some of the things that the SBA world can provide, and I'd be happy to explore those with you. But it begins with early and often communication.
I think that's all wonderful advice, and having the contingency plans at different levels is wonderful. We're doing that with people. And communicating that to the bank in advance to just kind of break through that thought process that a lot of people have of I'm not going to wave any red flags until I absolutely have to. I think that's counterproductive. I think the more open your communication is early, you will kind of stay off the watch list with your lender longer, make them more willing to work with you because you're being proactive.
I would agree with that because we really look at businesses as being part of that business and a team member, and to help you grow and survive out here in the marketplace. That being said, I have experience where some of my clients have been very bankable clients at one time, and then for whatever reason, they were not all of a sudden. And one of the goals that we have, I have a couple in my portfolio, and we really provide a lot of technical assistance. And within 3 to 5 years, our goal is to graduate that client back to a commercial banking institution. So that is our goal. So we work very closely with the business owner to get them prepared for that. And there's a lot that goes into that.
Going back to my example of the 75 existing business owners in that meeting, with 3 of them raising their hand that have a business plan. I think that's very indicative of what you're saying too as well. Now is not the time not to plan. Now is not the time to take the time to do that which you haven't done in the past. So, again, making a logical leap for me, maybe not a good one, but I'll make one. So coming to you in an existing business with experience, with P&L experience, maybe with some weaknesses, maybe seeing some downturn, is someone that you would seriously look at,
yes,
as opposed to a new startup.
Oh, yes, absolutely. More so, probably.
Dwight?
Yeah, certainly, we do a lot of debt restructuring. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for us to keep you in a financing vehicle that you can't pay. And we know that if you can't pay us, you likely can't move the relationship. So it's critical that we come together with a plan, but boy, it sure helps your goal of getting something done if you have said, here's what I've already done or what I'm planning to do, and what do you think? Well, I agree with this. Maybe you shouldn't do this, and we'll work together in tandem to come up with a plan that works to weather this. And then maybe it's just a short-term thing, and then in 2011 you go back to a regular performing P&I payment or whatever it is. But there are lots of ways to compromise during downtimes, and like Larry said, the bank sure doesn't want that business. We're not good manufacturers. We're not good subway operators. We don't want it. So we'll work hand over fist to get you through this tough time.
And also let me say that what Larry was talking about as far as going to your landlord, because a lease expense is one of your most costly items of your fixed cost there, and go to them because they will work. I mean, I've seen many this past year where we've, said, look, this is costing you, you're not going to make it, you need to go, you need to have this conversation with your landlord, you need to go have this conversation with your supplier, let's get this worked out now, because I will tell you, once the attorneys get involved, it's really hard to get it worked out. And I'm working through stuff right now, and it's just really difficult, so don't let it get to that point. Larry's right. They want to, and we want to work with you. We don't want to see you fail. We want you to succeed, and so does everybody else. So don't be afraid to make that phone call, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a positive response.